$157 million. That's the price tag on a New York State Labor Department project, a 10-year plan to modernize its unemployment insurance computer system. I found out about it with the help of my sources at the state capitol, and it also took this Freedom of Information Law request to uncover the total cost to you, the taxpayer. My investigation left me with two questions. Why so long, and why so much? It took a while, but just this week, the State Labor Commissioner, Patricia Smith, agreed to answer our questions about the $157 million computer modernization project. Why is it so expensive, and why does it take so long?
We have a 30-year-old mainframe, and just to give you some idea of how outdated the whole system is, if I want to approve somebody's time records, it usually takes me about 30 minutes to approve one person's time records. So we have to totally redo the system, and it's a complex system.
And then the IT.
Richard Welty is a computer expert who once worked for CMA, a firm that has had dozens of computer programming state contracts. He says the state is always a little slow, a little high cost. 10 years, $157 million. How does that sound to you?
That's not outrageous. It probably came in a little over, but not a lot over. And for something like that to only come in a little over, you can tolerate that. Now, these things tend to be very complex. New York State is a very large state, big population, very complex laws.
Commissioner Smith says New York compares favorably with other Northeast states when it comes to the cost of this project. Listen.
$157 million sounds like a lot of money, but it's actually pretty typical of what the Northeast states are spending on modernization.
But here are the numbers we came up with for comparison. Massachusetts, $41.5 million to modernize. Ohio, Phase 1, $40 million. Phase 2, $18 million. Iowa, $17 million. California, $74 million. That's a lot, but still less than half the New York price tag. But as I check other Northeast states or other similar states, Massachusetts, $41.5 million, Ohio, about $40 million, even California, I think $78 million for their system. Why is ours so much more?
Well, I think that because we're starting from scratch. If you look at, for instance, Ohio is $40 million, but they didn't get a lot of functionality, I'm told, out of that system.
And there's the question of the length of the project, 10 years. Other states were just a fraction of that. Is there any fear that the fact that the project is taking 10 years, that by the time the 10-year project is over, it might be outdated?
Well, that was a fear when I became the commissioner last year. What we did is, instead of having a product that it takes 10 years to work on, then you flip a switch and hope that it works and turn it on that night, we are rolling out the improvements little by little. This way, it's not going to be 10 years till you see any benefit. It's going to be 10 years until everything is done. And because it is going to be a series of components as opposed to one huge project, to the extent that some part of it may be outdated by then, we'll be able to replace that one part of it and not the whole thing.
Now, you should know it didn't take us 10 years, but it did take us a while to get those answers. Our initial requests for an interview were put off because we were told the commissioner needed to be briefed, and there were quite a few unreturned phone calls as well. Now, don't forget, as I do every Thursday morning, I'll be on the radio talking about our You Paid For It segment on The Scotto Show. That's tomorrow morning at 8 on News Talk 590 WROD.